Hello guys, welcome to another video, and in this video I will explain the job sequencing problem. So let's get started. Here is the problem statement, and it says that given a set of n jobs where job I has a deadline and profit associated with it. Each job takes 1 unit of time to complete and only one job can be scheduled at a time. Okay, we can earn the profit if and only if the job is completed by its deadline. And our task is simple, that we need to find the number of jobs done and the maximum profit that we have got. Okay, one note is given here. It says that the job will be given in the form job ID, deadline and profit associated with that job. Now one example is given here. Let me explain the example. So the example says that we have 4 jobs and the jobs are given in the same form which is here. Now let me draw the timeline first. So I'm going to draw the timeline here, and each value in the timeline represents the time in unit. So I have time like this. After that I can divide each unit of time in a particular slot. So I have slots available like this. After that, if you see this particular job, then you will find that the deadline is 4 here. So for this job I have 4 slots available, right? And for rest of the jobs you can see that each job has deadline 1. So for these jobs I have only one slot available. You can see that for these jobs I have only one slot available because the deadline is 1 here. Now I can do only one of these jobs. I have one slot and I have 3 jobs, and interestingly only one job can be scheduled at a time. This means that I can do only one of these 3 jobs. So which one to choose? This is quite simple, that like I will choose job 3 because job 3 has a maximum profit associated with it, and our task is to maximize the profit, right? So I will do job 3 in the time slot 1. So I will do job 3 here. Now this time slot is occupied. Okay, after that I cannot do these 2 jobs uh, because I can only schedule one job at a time, and I have given this time slot to job 3. After that I have this job, and this job has a deadline 4, which means that it has 4 slot, and I can do this job in any of these slot. But you can see here that this particular slot is already occupied. So now this job has only 3 slot available for this, but I think 3 slots are enough to perform this job. So I can do this job in any of these slot. So let's say I do in slot 3. So now I can do job 1 in slot 3. Okay, after that I'm done with all the jobs here. You can see that, and I was able to complete only 2 jobs. So the jobs completed is going to be 2. I have done 2 jobs here, and after that talking about the profit, so the profit associated with job 3 was 40, and the profit associated with job 1 is 20. So the total profit is going to be 60 here. Now 2 and 60 is going to be the output here. So 2 and 60 is the output, where 2 is the count and 60 is the profit. Now I hope you have got the clear understanding of the problem statement. So let's talk about the solution. Okay, I'll start with the intuition first, and I have written the same example as given in the problem statement. Let me draw the timeline again. So I have the timeline like this, and it contains the value which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Now again I have the slots here. Okay, now look at these 3 jobs. These 3 jobs have a deadline of 1, right? So we have only one slot available for these 3 jobs. So we have 3 jobs and one slot, so we can do only one of these jobs. Which job to do? This is the question. The answer is quite simple, that we will do this job. The reason is this job gives us maximum profit, and according to the problem we need to find the maximum profit, right? So we are going to do this job. Okay, even let me take one more example, that let's say we have 4 slots here which are available, and out of 4 slots 3 slots got occupied by any of the jobs. Okay, after that I have only one slot available, and I have some candidate jobs for this slot, like I have one job, I have second job, I have the third job, and each job has a different ID associated with it. Okay, so I have multiple jobs and I have only one slot. So which job to provide this slot, this is the question. So which job to provide, what is the answer here? The answer is we will provide this slot to that job which is giving us maximum profit. So we can conclude something from this. We can say that we will we can say something that we will process those jobs first which are giving us more profit. After that we will try to process those jobs which are giving us less profit if possible. Let's say I have this job which is giving us 400 profit, so I will do this job. After that I have these two jobs which this is giving 50 profit and this is giving 20 profit. So even these two jobs doesn't get any slot available, but we have maximized our profit, right? We have chosen the job which is giving us more profit, and doesn't matter if this job doesn't get this slot. So this is what I want to say. I can write this observation as we will process those jobs first which will give more profit, and in order to achieve this we can simply sort the jobs in descending order of profit. So if I do so, then I will have jobs with more profit first, and after that I will get the jobs with less profit. So it is the decreasing order. Okay, now I have written the same example again, and I can observe one more thing from this example. Let me tell you what. First of all, I am going to draw the timeline again. The timeline contains the value which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and so on. Okay, and again I am going to divide the time into slots. Okay, now let's talk about this job. This job has 4 slots available, right? This means that I can do this job in any of these slots. Okay, so let's say I do job 1, this is job 1 in the first slot. So job 1 has occupied the first slot, and now you can see that these 3 jobs will get no slot now. No slot, because the only slot which was available to these jobs is occupied by job 4 now, job 1 now. Okay, now but on the other hand I have one more option. Let's say I have 4 slots like this. So I can give slot 3 to this job. Let's say I give slot 3 to this job. Now again I have slot 1 available for these 3 jobs, right? So I can simply provide the slot 1 to this job. This way you can see that I have done 2 jobs, and in this way I have done only 1 job. This raises a very important question, that how to optimally assign the slots to a job. So even I can write this question. The question is how to optimally assign jobs to a slot. Like, okay, how to optimally assign slots to jobs? This is the question. Let me tell you the answer to this. The answer is, see here what I have written. I have written very interesting observation here, that jobs with higher deadline have higher slots available and lower slots available. And this is even obvious. You can see here that if I talk about job with 4, then it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 slots available. But if I talk about jobs with deadline 1, then it has only 1 slot available. So this 1 slot is something which is available to this job as well and these 3 jobs as well. But the vice versa case is not true. Like, these 3 slots are available to this job but not available to these 3 jobs. Okay, and this is what I have written here. You can see that jobs with higher deadline have higher and lower slots, but job with lower deadline don't have higher slot. These jobs only have the lower slot. Okay, so the optimal way of assigning slot is quite simple, that I will first assign, let me explain this. I will first assign lower slots to lower jobs, and I will assign jobs with higher deadline to higher slots. This way I will have the optimal assignment of the slots to jobs. Okay, but we have the worst assignment as well. The worst assignment is going to be if I assign the jobs with higher deadline to lower slot. This way these slot will get occupied, and I will not be able to assign these lower slots to this job. Why? Because higher these job have already occupied that slot. I hope now the idea is clear to you. So the optimal assignment is pretty simple, that first provide lower slot to lower deadline jobs, and after that provide higher slot to higher deadline job. So I can write this. This is the second observation that we have made. The second observation is try to provide higher slot number to jobs with higher deadlines. Okay, so that the jobs with lower deadline also get an available slot. This is the very important observation. Now, till now, I have figured out two observations and I have written them here. Okay, now let me talk about the approach. Let me talk about the approach. So I'm going to write approach here. Uh, So the approach is quite simple. I'm simply going to write the steps for the approach. But before talking about the approach, I want you to notice one thing here, that how we are keeping track of the slots. You can see that once a job is done, then we need to keep track of the slot which is occupied by that job. So how to keep track of this? There are two possible values. If I have a slots array, which is having all these slots. Okay, so there are two possibilities. Either the slot is occupied or the slot is empty. So in order to keep track of this, we can have a boolean array which is slots. So this array will tell me whether the slot is occupied or it is empty. Okay, so I can write make an array slots. This is going to be a boolean array. After that, the second step is uh, sort the jobs array. Why I need sorting? Because I want to process the jobs with higher profit first. So sort the jobs array in descending order of profit. Array in descending order of profit. Okay. After that, I have this sorted jobs array. So I'm going to process each job. So process each job. What does this mean, like process each job? This simply means that try to look for some empty slot for a job, right? Check whether we can do it or not. So check whether we can do it or not, whether it can be done. Okay, now how to check whether it can be done or not? This is very simple, that I will look for an empty slot in the array. So for uh, each slot in slots array, I will look for an empty slot. So if slot is empty, why if slot is empty, then I can simply do that job in that particular slot, right? So I'll write a simple thing, that do that job, right? So this is what I can do, and after that, once the job is done, then I will move to another job. So this is what I'm doing here. Okay, now one more thing that I want to mention is how we are going to look for each value in slots array. We will start from back. Why we will start from back? Because this is where the second observation comes to play the role. uh, let's say we have a jobs array which contains 4 slots, and I have the deadline as 4. So if I start from this, then it will say that okay, this slot is available and just occupy this slot. But this is the same case that we have mentioned here in the second observation, that if like if the job with deadline 4 occupies the first slot, then we will be able to do only one job, right? So we want the job to occupy the higher slot as much as it can. So I simply start from the deadline itself. I'll start from the deadline and I will move backward and look for an available slot, right? So I'll say that start from deadline, right? Okay, so this is what I can do. I think this is very similar to the pseudocode that I can write, but I think this is enough to explain what we are going to do. So now I'm just going to show you the code. Okay, so I have written the Java code and the C++ code, and also I have written the Python code. Now let me start explaining with the Java code. Okay, so Java code. and in the Java code I have written an array. So I have named it as jobs done, which will keep track of jobs done. But this is same as the array which is our slot array. Okay, so let me name it as slot. Now this is very important step. This is the step where I am sorting the jobs array on the basis of the profit that we have. And this is something which is called lambda expression in Java. So I used to keep like I used to make video on the topics like lambda expression and the uh, Java Stream API. So I make a short video on these topics, so you can please don't miss out those videos, because those videos are something which will give you an idea about how these like how we can make use of these advanced Java in order to solve the DSA problems. Okay, so now this is the point where I'm sorting the arrays on the basis of profit. So this is how we sort on the descending order of profit. Okay, now after that, for each job in the job array, I'm simply looking for an empty slot, right? So what is this? Why I have taken the minimum value? I will explain you this, but before that you can simply assume that I'm starting from job deadline -1. After that I'm looking for an empty slot. So if the slot is available, then the value will be false here, and after that I'll simply do that, increase the count, and I will do that job, and after that the slot will be occupied. So I'll write here slot of I has become true now, and after that I will break. Why? Because once the job is done, then there is no need to check further, right? There is no need to check for empty slot. This is what I am doing here. After that I'm simply returning the count and profit. The same thing I'm doing here. And in C++, in order to sort the values, I'm using a comparison, like a comparator, which I'm passing in the sort function. Okay, so this is the C++ code, and after that I have the Python code as well. And in the Python code I'm using a list in order to keep track of the slots. After that I'm using again lambda expression in Python in order to sort the values in descending order of profit. After that I'm traversing each value here, and I'm finding for the empty slot, and when I have the empty slot, then I will simply do the job in that particular time. Okay, now I hope the idea is clear to you. And one more thing that is still I need to explain is this particular condition. Okay, so let me explain this. This is very simple, that let's say I have five jobs. Okay, and after that I have one of the jobs whose deadline is 10. But if you notice in the code, then you will find that the size of slot array is n. So if I start from deadline -1, then I'll be starting from the point 9, right? But there is no any value in the 9 array, in the array, right? Because this array has a size 5. And if I talk about this index, then this index is going to be array of 9, and there is no array of 9 index because the size is limited. Okay, so in order to avoid this exception, I have written the condition minimum. So it is going to take minimum of deadline and the size of the array. So this is all about this problem. I hope you guys like the solution. If you like the solution, then you can hit the like button, and if you are new here, then you can subscribe the channel. Thank you.